Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and children. Pyrrhus of Epirus here, and big game, big game. England versus France. I would like to have done this in both English and French, showing my deep cultural, appreciation for our neighbours across the sea. But unfortunately, my level of French is about the level of bonjour, ça va, bouf. Do you do chips with that, mate? So I'm afraid I can't do the French language any justice. But what are you going to do? I apologise. So I'm afraid it's a bit of a frustrating one. So not in terms of the games were great. The frustrating thing is that these two games don't work. I've tried them, they're broken because the game wants to treat itself to a succulent buffet of dicks. I don't know. So, long story short, the draw was quite spectacular. He whittled me down quite quickly. I was on 3 health, he was on 12. I had an Agnomen in play. So obviously I drew a Longinius cruiser, popped him for 7, popped him for 3, drew for the 2. Shame really, because obviously if I had one more damage, I would have taken the victory for England right there, but it was not to be. He played his Angron very well. Played a really interesting deck, which makes it more frustrating that I can't show it to you. It was like a troop Angron, and I really liked playing against it because it threw me completely off guard, and he battered me. But anyway, without further ado, we'll do the 2 games that we can see. So Horus versus Canis. So I mentioned in the last video, this is a bit of a tough matchup in my humble opinion for Horus. It's just, Canis is just a tough matchup for anyone, I think. I did make a couple of changes to try and compensate. So I put Smirnoffs in there. I made a couple of other changes. And I think I held him. I think I did really well. I definitely made him think. So, I'm not particularly ashamed in the way that I did it. I think one of the things about this hand is that I just have so many different good things that I can do. I think during the match I got a little bit overwhelmed by all of the kind of options I had, and I'm not sure I necessarily played the right one at the right time. I feel like this game could have been perhaps different if I'd made a couple of small mechanical and strategic differences to my play, which I might see hopefully and highlight at some point. So this guy was really interesting in the game. I don't know why I just didn't consider that he'd have one, which sounds stupid because it's actually a really good card to have in this deck. But I did stun it, so I think double-edged swords. I wonder if I should have just killed it instead of stunning it, but I was sort of in hit the Canis in the face mode. So he melgs it, which is sensible because obviously it's fucking with his energy. That comes back to haunt me later. I drop a Smirnoffs. I actually found they were quite useful. I don't know how Blankette felt about them, but I felt they were quite a nuisance. Yes, he can just deal with it, but it's energy that he's, or attacks that he's putting into the Smirnoffs, not into me. So, that was frustrating. Yeah, he had a really good set of cards. Now I think, a critical error here. So I play Sergar, and I don't kill the Melgator. And again, I'm thinking his face. I just want to kill him as quickly as possible. Because that 1 damage, he can pop me off with these guys, which I just obviously causes problems because there would have been a 5-1. He had 3 energy, but he would have had to do something else, which would have been 1 less card. I wonder if it would have made a difference. I might have been able to pop it into him or race him. Just yeah. We'll see. We'll see. So to get the Smirnoffs out, I'm just thinking let's get threats out. Typically, course he has one. Drops them both to 1. Ah! And then obviously goes in at me for quite a lot of damage. So I don't think I played. Oh, I couldn't. I don't think you should necessarily play expecting the thing that's going to fuck you, but perhaps you need to bear it in mind. Because if you're too worried about what he could do, it will paralyze you. So I was just trying to be bold and act. I was aware that I milled myself there for the card. It was a calculated risk. I just wanted to get a board out to keep him from murdering my face. So I feel like this was the right play because obviously I'm on 17. I don't want to take 4 damage. It's a big threat. I felt a little butthurt with this. I hope Blankette feels guilty. Look at this for an absolute piece of shit maximum disrespect move. Ah, no. Yeah, so I probably deserve that. This geezer's back out. Not happy. I must chariot and las rifle it. So obviously one of the things that he's doing really well is because I'm constantly just reacting to the absolute bullshit that he's putting out. I can't get any of my big things out, so I can't seize that initiative. Something I was talking about. I think last week how crucial that initiative is. He just retained it perfectly, like all the way through. And he's able to play these big cards. I have to react to them, which just puts me in really difficult positions. Yeah, it was not fun. So obviously I get rid of that. Pull out another threat. Just hoping it stays alive. Obviously gets me nice and low. So at this stage I'm sort of out for the count really, so it's a shame. It's just one of those things where you say, if I had one more turn, I had enough to take him out. Obviously he has cards in hand and he would have been able to do things in response, but he played very well. I think I did good. I just couldn't seize that initiative, or I didn't. So that was good. That was a tense, tough game. And then game 2, Horus versus Angron. So I don't know whether this is just me. I've never found Angron particularly threatening in regards to Horus. So this deck, is back to my sort of just burn you to death deck. And the problem with Horus for Angron is that he can outpace Angron so easily. Just all of his cards do high damage, and they're not easy to remove, which is never good for an Angron. Angron can get nice bursts and those sort of peak draws and stuff, but I don't think in my current rendition of Horus, I don't think I've lost to an Angron. So yeah, so as you saw, I do lose this, and that obviously puts a lot of pressure on my 2 teammates. So I didn't mention we lost to New Zealand, so I won my game and my 2 colleagues didn't manage to win theirs. So it puts us in a really difficult position because we're obviously paired up against France, our toughest matchup, and New Zealand, who are in 3rd place or 4th place, they are against Argentina. And given Argentina's performance, no offense at all, New Zealand are very likely to win that. Could upset us, I don't know. But if they win it, it's a really difficult situation because we'll both be if we lose, we'll both be 3 for 2, right? And sorry, if they win and we lose, we'll both be 3 for 2. So it'll be down to tiebreakers. And I don't think that goes well for us, which means, I mean, Steve and Hal both win their games. It's not a discussion. But the interesting one was if South Africa win as well, we'll all be 3-2, and we'll all have a tiebreaker against each other. So we'll have tiebreaker versus South Africa. South Africa will have a tiebreaker versus New Zealand, and New Zealand will have a tiebreaker against us. So in that situation, who goes through, right? So yeah, he smells the end. So it's really tense. Obviously, it's out of my hands now, so this is probably the hardest bit for me. Just waiting for my partners to play, waiting on their results. We could very well go out, which would suck because I think we've done really, really well, and I think it'd be a massive shame. I think we've got a lot more to offer this World Cup. So fingers crossed. I did really enjoy these games against Blankette. Very, very good player. Certainly knows what he's doing, which you'd expect from the French team because they've been absolutely hammering the shite out of everyone. I think in 12 games, they've lost one match up, which I believe was Blankette against Lopez. So, like, the French are really powering ahead, and I really hope that we get through, and then we get through to an England-France final, because I would love to play Blankette again. Like, I really think I could give his Angron another go for his money with my soul. I think if I can get that initiative, I could beat that Canis. Like, I just need to play better and be better, and not suck. Don't suck, Paris. Anyway, so yeah, exciting. Keep watching it all. Tatty buys.